All right, so get ready because today we're diving into the future. Going to be tackling this research article called Generative AI, a new consumer operating system.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of that one.
Yeah, you sent it over. I'm super intrigued, honestly, a little terrified to see where this goes. A
Yeah.
little bit, yeah.
What's interesting, for sure, it's a fascinating look at how AI could just totally change the way we interact with technology. And it's not just about, like asking a smart speaker to play music. It goes way beyond that.
Okay, good. So it's not like, the movie, right?
Well, I mean, we might get there eventually, but
Okay. So the article starts off talking about like a shift. It mentions command lines, then touch screens, and now it's talking about AI agents.
right.
What exactly are those?
So imagine like a digital assistant, but way more advanced. Not just understands your commands, but also like anticipates what you need.
Okay.
And then it takes care of stuff for you across the internet. So we're talking shopping for the best deals, making travel arrangements, managing your schedule, all that based on what you like and what you usually do.
Okay, that does sound way more advanced than just like tapping on icons on my phone.
Yeah.
It's like having a personal assistant who lives in your phone.
Right.
Hopefully one that doesn't like, take a vacation when I need them most.
Right, exactly. Much more reliable, hopefully.
Okay. But it's not just about convenience, is it? The article talks about this massive economic shift that these AI agents are kind of driving it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Convenience is a big part of it, but it goes way deeper. The article predicts that by 2030, get this, AI agents could be doing almost $9 trillion.
Right, yeah.
That's trillion with a T in spending globally.
9 trillion. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of zeros. Yeah. It's
Mhm.
huge. It'll be a massive shift in how we think about consumers and buying stuff.
Okay, so what makes these AI agents so powerful when we're talking about like spending money?
Like we were saying, convenience is a huge factor. Think about it. You could offload all those annoying tasks, comparing prices, reading reviews, all that stuff.
Oh, I hate doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it makes it way easier. But what's really interesting is how this could change our relationship with brands.
What do you mean?
Well, right now, we might choose a certain brand because we've used them before, right?
Right.
Or maybe we like their ads.
Yeah.
But an AI agent, its main goal, it's going to be to find you the absolute best product at the best price, no matter what the brand is.
So are we saying goodbye to like big name brands as we know them? Like, are they just going to disappear?
That's the big question, isn't it? I don't think they'll disappear entirely, but their influence, yeah, it could definitely shrink. They're going to have to change how they do things, maybe focus more on like really personalized experiences, to stand out, or maybe they team up with these AI platforms to show why their stuff's the best.
So instead of choosing a coffee brand because their jingle is catchy, my AI is going to be like, hold on, based on your preferred beans, brewing method, and caffeine dependence, this other brand is actually a better fit.
Exactly. No more falling for those marketing tricks. It's all about data and what's actually good.
That's kind of scary, but also kind of awesome. But what about advertising? Because aren't AI agents just going to make those even more, like, in my face all the time?
That's what I thought too. But the article actually says the opposite might happen.
Really?
And it says that right now, ads, they're all about interrupting whatever you're doing online.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Right. But with AI agents, they kind of act like a go-between, so ads could be more integrated and less annoying.
Okay, I need to hear more about this. Because
And
targeted ads, based on my browsing history, those already feel a little too personal sometimes.
oh, for sure.
Like, how do they know I was looking at those shoes?
Right. So there are a couple of ways this could work. The article talks about something called retrieval-based and active intent generation.
Okay, those sound like complicated terms. Break those down for me.
They sound way more complicated than they are, don't worry. So retrieval-based, it's kind of like how those search ads work now. Let's say you ask your AI to find you something, like a restaurant or whatever. It's going to show you a list of places, but some of them might be paid, like sponsorships.
Okay.
But the important thing is they're still tailored to what you actually want.
So it's like, here are the top 5 Italian restaurants near you, but one happens to have a deal with Open Table or something.
Exactly. So it feels less like an annoying pop-up and more like a helpful suggestion.
I could get behind that for sure. So what was the other one? Active intent, something.
Active intent generation. And this one's really interesting. Basically, the AI is using all the info it has about you, right? What you buy, what you like, all that. And it uses that to actually suggest stuff you might want before you even ask.
Hold on. You're saying my AI could see I'm running low on coffee and order more for me?
That's the idea.
That's kind of amazing. Also, a little creepy.
Yeah, definitely a fine line there. But that's the potential of it, right? This whole shift, it could be a really big deal for new companies who are figuring out advertising, especially the ones that can use AI to make ads personalized without being super intrusive.
So we've got AI agents shopping for us, booking things for us, maybe even doing our taxes. Who knows?
Who knows, maybe one day.
It's a whole new world. Kind of reminds me of when smartphones first came out and it was just like everything changed.
Totally.
Speaking of smartphones, are those going away? Is everyone just going to be rocking AI wearables instead?
Well, wearables are cool and all, but this article, it actually says smartphones are here to stay, at least for a while.
Okay, so my phone's safe for now, but what's going to happen to them?
The article, it kind of sees them becoming like central hubs. They'll connect to and control all these other AI devices. So think you might have smart glasses for AR, a smart watch for, tracking your steps.
Yeah.
And of course, the smart home stuff, your fridge that orders groceries for you.
Right.
And your smartphone, that's the brain that brings it all together.
Okay, so my phone's not going away. It's just becoming like the boss of all my other devices.
Exactly.
That makes sense. It's kind of how our phones connect to our headphones and stuff already, but on a way bigger scale.
Right, exactly. Think bigger, way more integrated.
But it's more than just like connections, right? The article, it talks about AI completely changing how we use all our devices, like how we actually interact with them.
Yeah, and you can already see it happening in a way. Think Siri, Alexa, all that. But the article, it says that voice control powered by AI, that's going to be how we use our tech, like all the time.
So instead of all this tapping and swiping, we're just going to be like talking to our devices like they're people?
Pretty much.
I don't know how I feel about that. It'd be super convenient, but also kind of weird. Hey, refrigerator, can you please, stop ordering pickles? It's freaking me out.
Well, the article does say that AI is not perfect at understanding everything we mean just yet, like our tone and stuff.
Right.
But with this generative AI stuff, which learns as it goes, we might get there.
So you're saying in the future, my devices are going to know what I mean, how I'm feeling, maybe even what I really want before I do?
Potentially, yeah. The article talks about how voice, it carries so much more information than just typing something, like our emotions if we're emphasizing a word, even where we are based on the background noise.
Wow.
So your devices, they could use all that to figure out what you mean and personalize your experience, which would be amazing. But also maybe a little strange at first.
It's a lot to take in, for sure. It's like we're on the verge of a whole new world. Like, are we in the Matrix here?
Kind of.
Yeah.
It is really exciting, isn't it? And, with any new technology, especially something this big, there's always that kind of, I don't know, Wild West phase in the beginning. Remember when smartphones first came out?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
No one knew what was going on.
It was like flip phones versus touchscreens, apps crashing all the time, good times.
Exactly. And this article, it's suggesting that we might be at that same point with AI hardware now. It seems like every company out there wants to be the AI company.
Right.
We were talking about the big players earlier, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Meta. So what does the article say about how smaller companies can even compete with those giants?
Yeah, because it's easy to imagine those guys just swallowing up all the competition.
Yeah, that's a real concern. But the article actually makes a good point. It says new companies, they can still find their own space.
Okay.
Look at what happened with personal computers and mobile phones. First, you have a bunch of different companies all doing their own thing. Then it gets really competitive. And eventually, a few big players come out on top. But those big players, they weren't always the first ones in the game,
So there's hope for the little guy, you're saying?
Exactly. David and Goliath, right? But what does that actually look like with this AI stuff?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So the article, it suggests that instead of going head-to-head with the big guys, new companies should focus on specific things, maybe needs that aren't being met or certain groups of people,
Okay.
things that the big companies are overlooking, like specialized AI agents or maybe super focused AI wearables that are just for one specific task or industry.
So kind of like how Apple, they became huge by focusing on design and user experience, even though they weren't the first ones to make computers.
Exactly. They found what made them different and appealed to a certain kind of customer. And this article says you can do the same thing with AI hardware. It's not just about having those advanced tech. It's about knowing how people are going to use it and what they actually care about.
User-centric design. Yeah, that seems to be the key here.
Definitely.
But let's talk about those big players for a sec. What is it about Apple, Google, Microsoft, and Meta that makes them so, I don't know, powerful when it comes to this whole AI thing?
Well, they each have their own advantages, right?
Yeah.
Apple, they've always been great at combining hardware and software in a way that just makes sense for people.
Yeah.
Plus, they've got that loyal customer base.
People camp out for days to get the new iPhone.
Exactly. That's powerful. And then you've got Google. They've been pouring money into AI research for years, and they have so much data. Plus, they've got search and Android, so they're everywhere.
It's hard to imagine a future where Google isn't a big deal, especially with AI. They practically invented data, didn't they?
Pretty much. And then there's Microsoft. They were the big dog in PCs for decades.
Right.
And now they've got Azure, their cloud thing, which is perfect for AI because AI needs a ton of data. Plus, they know all about enterprise software, businesses and stuff.
Makes sense. And what about Meta? They've been kind of quiet about AI, haven't they?
They have, but don't underestimate them. They've got Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp.
True.
That's a lot of users, a ton of data. They can use all that to build up their AI, especially for things like personalizing content and those targeted ads.
Oh, right. Forgot about that whole side of their business. So we've got these tech giants, each with their own strengths, all competing to rule the AI world.
It's a wild time.
It's kind of overwhelming, to be honest.
I get it. It can feel like we're just along for the ride. But here's the good news. More competition means more innovation. As these companies try to get our attention, try to get us to buy stuff, they have to push the limits of AI. And it's good for us in the end.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Like, a rising tide lifts all boats. But the tide is AI, and it's moving really fast.
That's a great way to put it. But even though it's exciting, this article doesn't just talk about the good stuff. It also mentions some of the potential problems with AI.
Yeah, that's what always brings me back down to reality. What kind of things are they worried about?
Well, data privacy and security are big ones. If we're going to trust AI with so much of our lives, how do we know our information is safe? How do we know they're using it the right way?
Yeah, because we're basically giving these AI agents access to everything. It's a lot of trust.
It is. And then there's the transparency thing. If an AI is making choices for us, don't we deserve to know how it's making those choices?
Right.
How can we be sure these systems aren't biased or
Yeah.
being used in ways we haven't agreed to?
Those are really good points. It's almost like we need a whole new set of rules for AI, a digital rule book for how it should and shouldn't be used.
I like that. And this isn't just about what individuals can do. We need to be talking about this as a society, figuring out the ethics of AI. And we need regulations that protect people.
That's a big job, but it sounds incredibly important. Like, essential if we want AI to be a good thing. It's a
Yeah.
lot, right? Like, it feels like we're standing on the edge of something huge with AI, full of potential, but also, a little scary.
I agree with you there.
So what do we do as people just living in this world? How do we handle this AI thing responsibly? Do we all need to learn to code, like become programmers just to understand what's going on?
Well, I mean, knowing how to code is never a bad thing.
True.
But I think it's more about, being smart about technology in general, being aware of the information we're sharing online, actually reading those terms and conditions we always just click through.
Oh man, those things are so long.
I know, right?
But important. Okay, so being more informed, not just clicking agree without looking.
Exactly. It's like we should be treating our digital lives with the same care we treat, like, what we eat. You want to know what's in your food, right?
Right. Okay, so like digital food labels for our AI. I like that.
Exactly. We need to be able to see what data these companies are using, how their algorithms are making decisions, what they're doing to make sure things are fair.
So it's not just on us, it's also on the companies making this stuff to be more transparent. Okay.
Right. It has to be both. It's like we need a digital bill of rights for the AI age,
Yeah.
something that lays out what our rights are, what we should expect.
A digital bill of rights. I like the sound of that.
Right. It's important. And we got to have these conversations, not just us, but everyone, talking about what AI should and shouldn't be allowed to do. And we need rules, laws to protect people.
It's a big task, but someone's got to do it right.
It is, but this whole conversation, it's been really eye-opening, hasn't it?
For sure. This research article has definitely given me a lot to think about. AI could change everything, in good ways, and maybe some not so good ways.
That's the thing about powerful tools, right? Depends how you use them.
That's a great point to end on. So to everyone listening, as you go out into the world, into this AI-filled world, be curious, stay informed, and always, always keep asking questions. And on that note, this has been another Deep Dive. We'll catch you next time.